The past few months, I started getting into watercolor painting, and I decided to try doing my first portrait. So you start with just sketching with pencil. I'm just bringing you through my process and what I've learned, and how I use what I've learned and applied it to making a portrait. First thing you do is sketch, and I would recommend not doing what I'm doing here, and don't just use a lead pencil. Use what I'm using now, this H sketch pencil. It'll be a lot nicer, easier to erase, it's lighter, so you don't really see it after you painted. I did go back and I tried to erase over the lead pencil, but it still kind of showed. And take a lot of time with your sketching, just because you can't go back and fix it. With acrylic, you can paint over pretty easily. You can't do that with watercolor almost at all. Once the sketch is done, it's time to get to painting. So I found out, and I'm sure a lot of people who do watercolor will already know this, watercolor painting is just about these layers. The first thing you need to do is look for where the highlights are, because you need to keep those light. You can't really go back and make them light again unless you're using a different medium. So the first thing I did is I mixed the paint, and then I grabbed just water, took a big watercolor brush, and I wetted all the skin with water, and then I went over with the paint just so it'd be really smooth. And after my first layer, I went back to the paint and I just kept adding it and letting it just blend in. This is the wet and wet method, and it'll make your skin or anything you want to be smooth look really smooth, because everything will be able to blend easier if your surface is wet too. Another tip I have, if you put too much paint down, is to use a paper towel, and you'll see me do this a lot. And I'll just take paper towel and I'll blot with it, and it'll make it a lot lighter. I'm doing it right now, and you can see the color got way lighter. Now once you're getting done with your skin, you start adding details, and for this you want your brush to be a lot drier, and you want your paper to also be dry. So I took, I think it was like 30 minutes to an hour between the skin and this. And as you can see, I'm just still adding details. There's certain parts that are still wet. I'm just going in, and you can see that since my brush is drier, the colors are way more pigmented. And you can also, since you don't have to have the paper still be wet, you don't have to worry about getting the paint down before the paper dries. You can take your time with this. You can go really slowly, just doing this. definitely the way to go with watercolor painting.